In three, go.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Wednesday edition of Pro Line, our podcast with Jim Feist. I'm Dave Koken, and we're looking to keep things rolling. It's going very well right now. As far as the selections go, we've got the turkey shoot to talk about, the 3 NFL Thursday games. I'll start by highlighting a few things. I had another good day on Tuesday. I'm pretty hot right now, 2-0 with easy college winners on Wyoming and Pacific. Also hit the podcast free play. That was a snap as the St. Louis Blues just destroyed Edmonton in the NHL. I've got 2 college plays posted for today. I just sent 2 more in to be posted for tonight. I'm going to have 4 college plays in all, plus the early college football play for the weekend. Great stuff. Hope you get on it because it's winning right now, and that means money in your pocket. With the holidays coming, that's certainly not a bad thing. Jim, how about you?
Well, I was 3-1 in college hoops last night, and you know it's been good. It's I think we're both really rolling, and if the customers want to fill their stuff their turkey with some money, this is a good way of doing it. We've got a big weekend ahead. We've got college games up for tonight, and we've got a whole card on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of college and pro and hoops and football. I mean, it's everything. So if they want to stuff their turkey and fill their pockets, it's jimfeist.com or vegasportsmasters.com, and go get our stuff. And you're not going to be sorry because we're putting in the work and things are breaking for us right now. So that's good.
Okay, well, let's talk about Thanksgiving Day and the 3 NFL games. And boy, you know, it's some fun matchups here now. There's plenty to cover here because the lines of these games have been moving. But Jim, it's one of those things where you'll probably see a lot of people on Twitter and Facebook talking about how the wise guys, the sharps, have moved the lines of this game. And that's not really the case. These games were adjusted from the opening line by the books themselves. I got that directly from the guys behind the counter. Perfect example would be the Minnesota-Detroit game where this game opened, on pickle, and they moved it a full 3 points. I think there was one bet taken, one limit bet taken on the Vikings, but that's not going to move the line 3 points. So oftentimes when you see big line moves, you know, the common thought out there is that, wow, there must be a lot of money on one of these teams. And that's not always the case. Odds makers make adjustments based on what they're seeing and what they're anticipating. And that's the case with 2 of the 3 games, actually, that have taken place on Thursday. Very important information.
Why do they do that, Dave?
Well, for one thing, because they saw what happened on Sunday, particularly in the Sunday, let me get to the games here, the Sunday night game, in the Chargers and the Cowboys. Now that line was posted before the Cowboys played the Eagles. And the Cowboys were 3.5 point favorites. That game didn't move to pick them because of bets. That game moved because the Cowboys looked terrible, and the odds makers simply adjusted the line. That wasn't money that moved that number. And in fact, and same thing on the Minnesota-Detroit game. In fact, the odds makers are anticipating, the ones I've talked to, that they think they're going to get sharp action on the Lions on Thursday morning. So that would be in conflict with the way the line has moved in the game.
Yeah, well, they set themselves up for the Detroit home underdog, division home underdog, by making the game Minnesota 3. I mean, I can't understand why they took it so far.
Well, because they knew the public was going to just come in and hammer Minnesota, which they've done. I mean, they've been taking, you know, the casual bettors, but they're all betting Minnesota. I mean, this will end up being a pros versus Joes game. And that doesn't mean that the sharp guys are going to win it, because it's been 50-50 all year. In fact, you can argue that the Joes have done better than the pros again this year, because the Joes are not stupid enough to bet on the Cleveland Browns every week. So it's true. I mean, it's finally, it looks like the Sharks have gotten off the ground. And this week, all the money's showing on Jacksonville from what I'm gathering. Now, that may change again on the weekend, because a lot of the Sharks players, if you want to call category, they're numbers crunchers. And when they see value based on the metrics, they make the bet. Doesn't matter who the team is. And the Browns have continuously showed up. This is for 2 years now. The Browns have continuously showed up as being overpriced, the opposition being overpriced at the window, and so they just keep betting Cleveland. Well, they keep getting their ass handed to them as well, because the Browns invent new ways not to cover every week. But that's just some information on these games. These are not big money moves. These were adjustments that were made.
Well, going back to the Thursday games, because we're not going to have a podcast tomorrow. Today is our
Right.
podcast to cover the next 2 days. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there, and we appreciate your listening to these podcasts. We have fun doing them, but it's no fun if nobody listens, and we have a lot of followers, so we appreciate that. Minnesota came off a big, it looked like a pretty easy game, and they down 7-0, then they just, they controlled the game the whole way against the Rams. So, but Detroit, they have played pretty well. They got Matt Stafford. You got a much higher priced quarterback than you have with Case Keenum, and they're not gonna roll over and die. And they've done lately. They've done pretty well on Thanksgiving Day. Wasn't always the case, but I don't care what happened 30 years ago. I'm only looking at what's happening this year. But this is a big game for a division, two division rivals, and they're fighting for that division title. This is a huge game. I mean, there really isn't much competition in the division other than these two games, thanks to Aaron Rodgers being out and Hundley not being able to play very well as a replacement. But this is really a Minnesota-Detroit battle for first place. If they can turn it around, if Detroit can win this game, it's going to really tighten things up.
Yeah, no question about that. It should be a heck of a game. The Lions are a very capable team, but one thing they're going to have to figure out how to do is to win a close one. They haven't been real good at that, and the Vikings are coming in on a roll. So I can see why there's going to be a lot of public support for the Vikings in this game. And I can see the same thing in the Rams and Cowboys, because the Rams, even with the loss to Minnesota, they're still a hot football team, so to speak, and the Cowboys are anything but right now.
Well, the Chargers go into Dallas this week, coming off that Buffalo fiasco, and I'm not going to give the Chargers much credit for that, because you're not going to run up against Nathan Perryman every week, and five interceptions in the first half set that game up in 54 points. They're not going to do all the time. But Dallas has a lot of injuries, and that showed up in the second half again. It showed up the previous week against Atlanta, giving up 8 sacks. So they still have a lot of problems. Elliott's out, Lee's out, and the left tackle has been hurt. Whether he'll play this week or not, I'm not sure. But the Chargers have a heck of a pass rush, and they have a wily old veteran, Phillip Rivers, who is not always, he hasn't been as consistent, but this team is in the hunt. And when you look at their division of Denver, Oakland, and Kansas City, I know Kansas City was the best team in football the first 5 weeks of the season. That's what everybody was saying. But now they've lost 4 out of 5, and they look like they can't get out of their own way. But so the Chargers are in the hunt for that division. And so they got a lot to play for. It's unfortunate they don't have a home field advantage, but they are not at home this week. They're in Dallas, and Dallas, the opening line a while ago was 3.5 for Dallas, but it's now 1.5 Chargers, and that's totally based on, like you said, Dave, what the odds maker thinks is going to happen, because these Dallas injuries are really very pronounced.
Here we move on to the Giants and Redskins, which will be the nightcap. Before the season started, this looked like a pretty compelling game, because a lot of people thought the Giants were going to have a good season and the Redskins figured to be respectable. Well, the Redskins are 4-6, but they are respectable. And the Giants have won 2 games, and they are not respectable. So we know where the ticket count's going to be on this one. I don't feel that the line's going to. I don't think this line's going to move much. I think there was a little bit of play in the Giants, got it down to 7.5. I don't see it dropping anymore. I don't think it drops to 7, and I don't think it's going to go up. So I think they've got a good number on this game, Jim.
Yeah, and I don't understand about the game, Dave. I think the line's right, but the Giants, I don't know where they're gonna get their points from. They have not been able to score. I mean, even last week in the victory over Kansas City, they didn't score, and the total went from 41.5 to 44.5. I mean, where are these points coming from? And
well, probably, I'm looking at that saying the Redskins defense basically can't stop anything right now, and they've got a good offense. So I mean, even the Giants might put some points on the board against the Redskins at this point.
Well, that would be something very different if they could do that. But McAdoo's coaching for his job up there. I don't know how he's going to hold on. Like you said, they have 2 victories on the season. It's been a mess, a train wreck. Washington has played actually a little bit tougher opposition. When you look at the opponents they've had, they've gone against some pretty tough offenses and some tough defenses. So
and they've hung in. I mean, they're not. If there's such a thing as a good 4-6 team, it's the Redskins. But I got to tell you, that is. I don't know what's going to be left in their tank here. I could not play the Redskins in this game. I'm not going to. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be involved in the game. I'm not taking the Giants. But that's a terrible loss that Washington's off. That could be maybe the most demoralizing loss of the season by any team. They got that game wrapped up and found a way to lose it. And in the process, they pretty much sealed their fate as far as the playoffs are concerned. I think they might be playing out the string at this point, and I'm not laying more than a touchdown to the team in that situation.
Well, let's look at that for a second. They're not going to catch. We think we know that they can't possibly catch the Philadelphia Eagles
No.
for the division titles. Okay, so we can cross that idea off. Now, there's a wild card that these teams can play for, and
Right. Well, there's 2, but they're not going to get one of them. One of them's going to go to the either Carolina or New Orleans. Okay, whoever loses that division is going to get one of the wild cards. And the Falcons are now 6-4. I don't think at 4-6, the Redskins would have to win every game to even have a chance to get into the playoffs. I think their season's over.
well, I don't think I'm with all due respect, I don't think they think their season is over. These professional athletes are, they always feel like they have a chance. The Giants know they don't have a chance. That's a type of team that very easily could quit. But this is a division game. There's a lot of rivalry issues involved in this game because they go back and they play each other twice a year. So I think they're going to come to play. I think everybody's coming to play here. Washington's the better team, and I think they're properly priced at 7.5. And I don't think the mentality at Washington losing a non-division game last week hurt them for sure, especially with the big lead. But I think they're going to continue to fight, thinking that they could win out 4 or 5 of the next 6 games. And
Well, they got to win it. They have to win them all.
Yeah.
They have no chance. They have 0% chance at 9-7.
But you also have to remember these other teams that we mentioned that look like they're going to get the wild card. You have the thing with the injury bug that can always step up and hurt you. We wouldn't even be talking about this if it wasn't for injuries to some of the key players already in the league.
No. It's going to take. I'd be shocked if anything less than 10-6 gets in the NFC. So, I look at anything's possible. Maybe the Redskins can go 6-0, but I don't see it. Look, and again, I'm not trying to make a case for the Giants because I wouldn't bet the Giants. If you gave me the money, I wouldn't bet the Giants. Okay, so I would only play the Redskins here, but off that loss, I can't do it.
Well, let me throw this out. If the line you feel is too high, but you think Washington's the better team and they're most likely to win, that could be a front end of a teaser.
Oh yeah.
So
I think this will be a heavy, very heavy teaser bet this weekend.
Yeah, and there are plenty of teaser options out there that you could move a 6-point line. And so if you look for a front end with Washington in the teaser situation, or even maybe taking Detroit +9 against Minnesota, so you have a teaser right there, a two-team. And if you want to go to more teams, there are plenty of options out there to go to more teams for a 6-point teaser, dogs and favorites. I mean, you could take the Saints,
where they are.
and you can tease even into totals. So there are options there. If you find a team that you don't quite know what to do with because of the line, you can also look at the teaser option. You could also bet on team totals. Like if you don't think Giants can score a lot of points, you might want to bet them under the team total. So, I mean, there's all kinds of options that you can look for to take advantage of the betting options and propositions that are given to us each week. College hoops has been very strong for Dave and I. We got some games out there tonight, and we got a whole weekend card. So, and these classics like the Maui Classic, that game with tonight with Notre Dame and Wichita is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that should be a great game.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have some winners. Like, my games, as a rule, are not the real major attraction games. I don't care. The money spent the same. And as usual, I've got games that a lot of people won't pay attention to today, but I think they're good plays. So get them at jimfights.com and expect to win.
Absolutely. Dave, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours and everybody out there. Enjoy the day and just be thankful for what we have.
Okay.